This is 7 News, the voice of regional WA.
Tonight, a teenager killed, others injured in an early morning Midwest crash. A Bunbury football star lays bare the scourge of domestic violence in WA. The special program helping Southwest kids hit important milestones.
And I'll have the full forecast for your place coming up soon.
7 News begins now.
Hello and welcome to 7 News. A teenage driver is dead and 3 others are in hospital after an early morning crash in the Midwest. They were in a Toyota Land Cruiser that lost control on the notorious Indian Ocean Drive. Ben Downey was there.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm standing outside a roadblock on Indian Ocean Drive, more than a kilometre south of where a group of youths crashed this morning where the driver was killed. Major crash detectives are examining the wreckage right now, working to determine exactly how the teenage driver lost control in the lead-up to this crash. A guitar and a case of beer are visible near the car by the side of the notorious stretch of road. It's currently too early to determine whether alcohol played a role. One 18-year-old woman suffered serious injuries and was airlifted from the scene to Royal Perth Hospital, where she remains in a stable condition. 2 other passengers, a 16-year-old boy and 20-year-old man, were driven to Jurien Bay Hospital before being flown to RPH in a stable condition. The several-kilometre stretch of Indian Ocean Drive has been blocked off for more than 8 hours as forensic crews work. Anyone who has dash camera footage or information is urged to call police.
The state government says it'll spend millions more on ways to curb WA's family domestic violence crisis. The announcement came during a breakfast for the government's 16 Days in WA campaign. But it was a speech by a Bunbury football star that gripped the room. Courtney Ugle talked candidly about her experience with domestic violence.
A football star from Bunbury laying bare her lived experience of family domestic violence.
When I think of my dad, I think of an alcoholic and I think of a perpetrator of family domestic violence. Every single man that came after my dad abused my mum. This was normal. I knew it was bad, but we had seen this for all of our lives.
Courtney's mother was murdered at the hands of her partner in 2016. Her story of abuse behind closed doors isn't a one-off.
Can you raise your hand if you know someone, if you have experienced family violence, if you are a victim or a survivor? Can I please get you to raise your hand?
In the last 12 months, 15 WA women have lost their lives in domestic violence homicides. Today, the state government announced it'll spend an extra $72 million to try put an end to the crisis.
Funding programs that support victim survivors and funding to help stop abuse before it happens.
Statewide, a 2-year public education campaign will be launched to challenge outdated views, and the Respectful Relationships program will be expanded in schools and online.
It starts at the beginning, and we've got a captive audience in schools, and I myself as a school teacher know you've got a great ability to influence in the school settings.
$6 million will also see perpetrator intervention programs set up in new regional locations. Targeted investments, it's hoped, will lead to a safer WA for women and girls.
Because I want to live in a world where I'm not continually seeing the numbers increase of, women who lose their lives.
Jenny Shon, 7 News.
And if you or anyone you know needs support, contact 1800-RESPECT. That's 1800-737-732. Pendley police need your help to find a 38-year-old wandering man. Joseph Clark hasn't been seen or heard from for a week after missing a flight to the Pilbara. He's described as about 185 centimetres tall, of medium build, with blonde hair and blue eyes. His family has asked the public to look out for his white Toyota Hilux ute in nearby bushland. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is urged to contact police. The state government has publicly apologised to the thousands of Aboriginal workers who had their wages stolen decades ago. It follows the recent settlement of a class action that'll see compensation go to those who've been affected.
An historical day for WA. Apologies for the injustice faced by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. 14,000 workers across the state received little or no pay for decades.
The fact that our laws facilitated these outcomes brings great shame. For that, We are sorry.
Between 1936 and 1972, legislation meant Aboriginal people often worked long hours in harsh conditions for little or no money. Instead, they were often paid with flour, sugar or tobacco.
I want to say to all Aboriginal workers that today the Government of WA recognises that those laws and policies were wrong.
The apology follows the settlement of a class action started in 2020. It was led by Mervyn Street, a Gunyandi artist from the Kimberley, who sought justice against the discriminatory legislation. The state government will pay $16,500 to each person affected.
Somewhere about 14 or 15, but I still never allowed to get paid. I was too young to get paid. My dad and mum used to work for nothing. Well, I feel good. I feel really happy. Not only me, but my people, but all the people in the community.
Another step toward reconciliation in WA.
Let this be a beacon guiding us towards a future where the resilience of our Indigenous communities is celebrated and their contributions to our state and nation are honoured.
Pip Waller, 7 News.
Labor Senator Pat Dodson has announced he's retiring from federal politics come Australia Day. The 75-year-old, known as the father of reconciliation, is one of the country's most recognisable Indigenous leaders. He's currently undergoing cancer treatment. He says while his health is slowly improving, it's left him physically unable to serve as a senator. Mr Dodson has been on extended medical leave from Parliament. He entered the Senate in 2016. 1,000 Geraldton residents have signed a petition pushing for a jetty to be built in the Midwest city. The group wants the council to approve money for a feasibility study.
It's been a dream for a few Geraldton locals to have their own jetty, among them former Geraldton Mayor Shane Van Stein. He put the idea of a feasibility study to council last year. It was voted down. Now, a new petition signed by 1,000 people wants the city to undertake this study. It's also backed by federal MP Melissa Price, who made it a commitment if the coalition won federal parliament. It didn't. The idea is to build it at Medallia Beach along Geraldton's foreshore between existing rock groins. It'd be shaped like a T, so an enclosed beach pool could be added. Advocates say it'll cost around $18 million. That's if you compare it to the cost per metre from other jetties like the one in Esperance that was finished over 2 years ago. The group says it would boost local businesses and become a tourist attraction. The petition will be formally accepted at tonight's council meeting. It calls on the city to allocate $200,000 for the study. The city is expected to produce a report on the idea, but support seems unlikely. Josh van Staden, 7 News.
A new music program is helping some little kids hit some big milestones in our southwest. It's run inside the Bunbury Regional Entertainment Centre. The singing and dancing helps with social interactions and to develop motor skills.
It might sound like just another sweet song.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. It's great to see you today.
But this music program has the power to help shape little minds. Here, both milestones and drums are hit.
Just like this.
You see some really wonderful things, some really beautiful interactions.
The Circle is a safe space, a place to feel something new, play an instrument, or simply just sit back and sing. Even the classics are featured.
Whoa, the hokey pokey, and that's what it's all about. Yay! Woohoo!
Music activates more areas of the brain at one time than anything else that we know of. We can use it to support development of motor skills, those fine and gross motor skills, for communication, for social interaction, and it's a huge part of bonding as well.
For now, there are 2 sessions at Bunbury's Regional Entertainment Centre, one for children aged up to 4, the other for neurodivergent children up to 11. But there could be more on offer next year.
Having this group is almost, it's a reason, an excuse, if you like, for them to just sit on the floor, be with their child, notice things, communicate with them, interact with them.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for coming today.
Amanda Sabatino, 7 News.
And Amanda is here now with a look at weather for today from across the state.
Thanks, Noel. On the synoptic chart today, there's a broad trough lying over inland parts of the state, while further south, another trough has moved inland, reaching the western goldfields today. To temperatures now, hot and stormy across our far north, 41 degrees in Wyndham, mostly sunny heading into the Pilbara, 31 the top in Karratha, and it was a warm day in Newman, 39 degrees there. Mostly sunny across the central west, 27 in Carnarvon, similar conditions in Morawa, and heading into the goldfields, heating up in Leonora, 36, while slightly cooler in Kalgoorlie today. We saw some sprinkles further south, 25 the top in Bunbury, 28 degrees in Albany, and further along the coast, warm in Ravensthorpe, a top of 20 in Esperance today, and we saw similar conditions in Eucla. On the rain map, 19 mils was the most recorded to 9 a.m. That fell at the Bedford Downs airstrip, 7 mils in the gauge in Ravensthorpe, and just 3 mils falling in Donnybrook today. To our weather wall now, and a big hello to the Year 5 class at Hannon's Primary School. Hello to Annie, Emily and Marley from Bunbury Cathedral Grammar School, and a special message from these students at Rawa Community School.
Hello! Hello!
Fantastic effort, everyone. Thank you very much. I'll have the full forecast coming up a little later on after sport. No?
OK, thanks, Amanda. And ahead tonight, an extra $500,000 for Albany's Surf Life Saving Club and a special project breaking the stigma of autism.
I know you can win. You know you can win. There is nothing stopping you. It's fast.
Yes.
It's free.
Yes.
It's easy to play.
Free cricket tipping, big prizes. Get a taste of victory this summer at thegame.com.au.
Albany police are searching for 2 men involved in an assault last week. On Friday night, 2 18-year-olds were egging passing cars in Spencer Park. A black Mazda 3 then pulled up. 2 passengers got out and chased the egg throwers into nearby bush. Police say one of the 18-year-olds was choked until unconscious and robbed. The 2 passengers returned to the car and drove off. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Albany Surf Life Saving Club has received an extra $500,000 for its redevelopment. The additional funds bring the state government's contribution to more than $2 million.
Albany's Surf Life Saving Club has been running for more than 100 years. It now has over 450 members, and its newest redevelopment project hopes to accommodate the growth.
The building was last redeveloped over 10 years ago, and at that point there was about 200 members. So the membership of the club has more than doubled, and we have a lot more equipment and we have a lot of community groups using the club.
The expansion will include a new community space and training rooms. It'll also move the storage space. It now opens to a footpath and poses a safety risk.
And we've had a number of near misses of kids almost being run over with equipment taking the jet ski, the rubber duck, the IRB, the rowboats in and out of the surf club to provide rescue services.
The expansion is set to begin early next year and finish before the summer rush in November.
Well, Middleton Beach is very busy, and we're a volunteer organisation that provides life-saving services to keep the beach safe and people using the beach. We also have an emergency rescue team that works closely with Sea Rescue.
The state's additional $500,000 brings the project total to nearly $3.5 million. Federal and local governments have also pitched in, as well as the club and the Jack Family Trust.
The members are very happy to see that the club will be able to accommodate the club equipment. We'll no longer be keeping equipment off-site, and we will have a safe clubhouse for the members to use and for the community use into the future.
Grace Armstrong, 7 News.
In our state south, a special dance project has unveiled a project that aims to break the stigma of autism. Emily O'Brien's community dance project focuses on what her experiences have been like.
Emily O'Brien has autism, but she loves to dance. Emily was given the chance to work alongside a co-producer and create a dance she called Girl with the Missing Puzzle Piece.
The story is that it's about a girl who's different from everyone else. It's a story about overcoming fears. It's a story about overcoming bullying.
Since being introduced to dance by an education support teacher, she hasn't wanted to do anything else.
Yes, sometimes I have PTSD attacks when I go to a certain place, but I can still do what I love. and dance is something that I love.
Emily was first invited to join the local all-ability performance group Let's Shine. She's now worked her way up to the lead choreographer, and this is the first time she'll lead her peers.
Breaking the stigma of it, being like, look what I can do. And also proving it to myself that once I put my mind to something, I can do it.
Maya Grieve, 7 News.
Sport is next. Tonight, a young Bunbury boxer back from the world stage with a bronze medal. Then a weekend of Midwest water polo marks a new wave of interest. WA's latest Sheffield Shield bout started at the Gabba today, but day one was washed out before the first wicket fell. The showers gave Queensland a wet start. They reached 61 runs off 28 overs. WA won the toss and chose to bowl first. Regional products Sam Whiteman and Jaden Goodwin have been named to play in the days ahead. WA currently sits in second place on the Shield ladder. The Geraldton Water Polo Association has seen record success in its junior program. The club played host to state clinics and exhibition matches at the weekend. The event was the first of its kind in regional WA and has helped to spark a new wave of interest.
A 2-day training clinic and exhibition games to boost the presence of water polo. 2 teams from the National Water Polo League, as well as the UWA Torpedoes under-19s men's and women's cohort, made a splash in Geraldton.
It was a good all-round thing from coaching, from playing and from the refereeing point of view.
A program like this is the first of its kind in regional WA. Some famous faces, including Andrei Kovalenko, was on hand for skills and coaching development. He once played in the Olympics and is now the UWA Torpedoes under-18s coach.
I think it only benefits the regional Western Australia if we've got clubs proactively coming, not just to us, but to Bunbury down south, Kalgoorlie out east, up north, further up north.
The local league in Geraldton is heating up. The club has become the biggest centre for the sport outside of Perth.
You know, we're seeing 50 in the pool at the moment, starting from pretty much zero a few years ago as far as a dedicated 18s and under program, and we're hoping that builds from here. 100, 150 kids.
Junior teams were sent to the national competition last year for the first time. Another 2 teams head to Brisbane in January.
And the facilities we have lend itself to that.
Opportunities for development many of these kids didn't have just a few years ago. Josh van Staden, 7 News.
A 21-year-old boxer from Bunbury has come home from appearing on the world stage with a bronze medal. She'd been representing Australia at the World Championships, her first international competition.
After starting her boxing career at the age of 14, Lakeisha has had her first bronze finish on the international stage in Germany.
But it was just really nice to get that podium finish at the end of the year. But it was great. Overall, it was still a great performance, and that's sometimes what you look at a little bit more, especially once you start to enter, I guess, the more like elite competition.
She was a strong soccer player and her coach had told her to strengthen up. So she started boxing in the backyard. Soon after, the boots were hung up and the gloves went on. Surprisingly, she had fewer injuries with boxing.
And the whole aim of the sport also is, you're like hit and don't get hit. So that's pretty much like your main priority.
After her podium finish earlier this month, Lakeisha knows she can do this.
So it was just a really nice reminder that I deserved to be there and I felt like I belonged a little bit more, which was, great.
Next step, the Olympics.
It's been a dream of mine since I started boxing. If I don't go to this Olympics, it just means I have more time and more experience up my sleeve for the next one.
Maya Grieve, 7 News.
Amanda's next with the weather at your place. And then in 7 News at 6. Shane warns children honouring their late father with a new foundation to help others and keep his legacy alive.
Welcome back. Tomorrow we can expect some showers and even a thunderstorm over parts of the Kimberley and interior, even the chance of a light shower near the west coast, while eastern parts of the state could become quite windy. Much the same into Thursday, with the chance of a shower about the south coast between Walpole and Hopeton. Clearing up by the end of the week though, as those seasonal storms continue in the Kimberley, but mostly in the afternoon and evening, and we'll see similar conditions into Saturday, but the remainder of the state is set to stay dry and mostly sunny. Thunderstorms across our far north tomorrow, 39 in Wyndham, heating up in Fitzroy Crossing, windy, and 32 in Karratha. We'll see the same in Onslow, a warm day in Newman, 38 degrees. Moving into the central west, sunshine and 34 in the Junction tomorrow. A much milder day in Geraldton. We'll see temperatures in the high 20s. Partly cloudy in Dalwallinu, the same in Moora. Also partly cloudy across our southwest tomorrow. 27 the top in Collie. Slightly cooler in Manjimup though. 27 too in Katanning. And much the same further inland. 29 degrees in Brookton. We'll see the same in Southern Cross there too. A mild day along the south coast. 25 and partly cloudy in Ravensthorpe. Some showers in Esperance though, and into the Goldfields, mostly sunny and 32 in Kalgoorlie. Slightly warmer tomorrow in Laverton. On local waters, there's a strong wind warning in place for the West Pilbara coast, seas to around 2.5 metres, with south-southwesterly winds to 30 knots. Swells to 2 metres from the Geraldton coast to the Lewin coast, with seas to around 1.5 metres there. And that strong wind warning is also in place for the Esperance and Eucla coasts tomorrow. Easterly winds to 30 knots, with swells reaching up to 2 metres. Taking a look at the nation's capitals tomorrow, thunderstorms in Sydney, a top of 26. Cooler in Hobart, thunderstorms also in Darwin, a top of 35. Mostly sunny in Adelaide, reaching 23 degrees. And we'll see similar conditions closer to home in the west, 25 the top in Perth tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good night.
You too. Thank you, Amanda. And that's local news for now. We'll have regional news and weather updates for you through the night. To see any of our reports again, you can watch our bulletin in full on 7+. 7 News from Perth is next. Good night, Western Australia.